fly like paper, get high like planes. If you catch me at the border, I got visas in my name. If you come around here, I'll make them all day. I get one down in a second if you wait. I fly like paper, get high like planes. If you catch me at the border, I got visas in my name. If you come around here, I'll make them all day. I get one down in a second if you wait. Sometimes sitting on trains. Every step I get to, I'm clocking night game. Everyone's a winner, we're making our name. Bonafide hustler, making my name. Sometimes I think sitting on trains. Every step I get to, I'm clocking night game. Everyone's a winner, we're making our fame. Bonafide hustler, making my name. All I wanna do is take your money. All I wanna do is take your money. All I wanna do is take your money. All I wanna do is take your money.
Man, I'm rolling through the city, old school on boys, 12-inch woofers in the trunk making big noise. Got the big toys, don't make me have to flash. Let 100 rounds go, you do 100-yard dash. Back up in the hood where the rules don't shift and the gangsters talk trill, sip, perfect bird pip. You can call 50 might come up by the time they arrive or the dirt done been done. Now one thing's for certain and two things for sure. Be it poison disease, gotta hustle up a cure. Start with your head, homie, then use your hands. If you try it in reverse, you don't even have a chance. You worldwide worried with the hunger and the thirst. From the third world countries to the second and the first. It sounds like a verse, but it's more like a plan. Get your Robin Hood on, put some pressure on the man. Tell him.
All I wanna do is take your money. All I wanna do is take your money. All I wanna do is take your money. All I wanna do is
I wake up in the morning with my bitch in the bed. She don't like the police and she so hate the feds. I love my girl cause she give me what I want. She ride in the trunk or either ride in the front. She look like 22 but she really 45. For some reason she done made a whole lot of niggas cry. So bad that she made them all pull their money out. Take it out their pockets and they put it in my purse. Gotta heard that way that girl do ya. She always wanna take the mule out. Give me them pesos, the cash and the credit card. Might be a bribe, but the little bitch is your heart. You the police, and we is the robbers. You need more than them helicopters and choppers. Excuse me, let me introduce my lady. Her name is Beretta, and she motherfucking crazy.
all I wanna do is take your money. All I wanna do is take your money. All I wanna do is take your money. All I wanna do is take your money.
It's like my third favorite song right here, man. Like my third favorite song. Third favorite. I guess because my birthday's in June, so. But yeah, anyway, it's my third favorite.
The paths you've arranged and the sound they're strange. They speak to me like constellations as we lie here. There's a magic I can't hold. Your smile, I've let it go. And that you never seem to be in short supply. So baby, let's get it on. Drinking wine and killing time. Send them summer sun. You know I wanted you so long. Why'd you have to drop that bomb on me? Lazy days, crazy dog. You said we'd been friends too long. 7 days in sunny June were long enough to bloom. The flowers on the summer dress you off in spring. The way just as one. And then you drop the bomb that I know you too long for us to have a thing. So baby, let's get it on. Drinking wine and killing time, sitting in the summer sun. You love, I wanted you so long. Why'd you have to try that on me? So baby, let's get it on. Drinking wine and killing time, sitting in the summer sun. You love, I wanted you so long. Why'd you have to try that on me? Could it be this? The starfish in your eyes, tell of silent wings, you fly away on. 7 days in sunny June, long enough to bloom. Flowers on that sunbeam dress you wore in spring. Yeah, yeah. The way we left us one. Why did you drop that bomb on me? So baby, let's get it on. Drinking wine and killing time, sitting in the summer sun. You love, I wanted you so long. Why'd you have to drop that bomb on me? The honeysuckle blessing seemed to show me. Maybe that's
I like how I suddenly just stopped the music, just like, stop. That's like my third favorite song. In case you didn't hear what I was saying before, that is my third favorite song. 7 Days in Sunny June by Jamiroquai. I think it was on their Traveling Without Moving album. Fantastic album. Anyway, all other albums are really dope. You know, Works from the Sandy, Traveling Without Moving, you know, Return to Space Cowboy, you know, anyway, all really good inspirational stuff, man. Well, it's happy music. That's what my son called it when he was a little kid. He said, Daddy, put on some happy music. And so I'd put on Jamiroquai. So anyway, so today, this is, you know, I really like David Goggins. Um, he wrote a book. It's called Can't Hurt Me. It was a fantastic book. I will actually put a link to it in the description box, a link to my Audible. So you can just click on it. You get a free Audible subscription, and you can get that book. That's actually the book you probably should get. I recommend anyone to get that book. It's fantastic, man. It's about this guy is he's a mentally tough motherfucker. in short, he's probably they say he's probably one of the most mentally tough athletes ever. You know, I mean, he's just total. This guy, he runs ultra marathons. So, ultra marathons are like 100-mile marathons, 100-mile race, 150-mile race over like 3 days or 2 days. You know, so these guys are just running nonstop. He was a Navy SEAL. He was like the 36th or 37th Black Navy SEAL. Um, you know, came from a family, an abusive, his father was abusive. You know, he grew up in Indiana in a very, very racist environment. And he basically, when he was in Indianapolis, actually in Carmel, Indiana, he was working as a like a pest, you know, pest control guy, and he was cleaning out a restaurant, opened up the restaurant ceiling, and like roaches and all this stuff just came out on him, man. And he like, at the end of it, he was like, man, is this really what I want to do for the rest of my life? So that's when he decided that he was going to become mentally tough. And he had a series of things that he did, you know, with post-it notes, looking at himself in the mirror. And it's really about being honest and intellectual honesty with himself. And I think that's something that we all need in our journey to achieve the ultimate levels of mental toughness that we do need in order to survive. And, you know, as we've been through this COVID-19 thing. Hey, what's up, Lady La? How you doing? I appreciate the love. Appreciate the love. Um, you should have received an email from me. If not, um, let me know because I want to make sure that I sent it to the right address. So I may have bounced. I'm not sure, but I sent you an email because I had some stuff I want to talk to you about. Um, yeah, and I'll be showing love too. Your stuff, man. It's awesome. But David Goggins, yeah, he's the baddest motherfucking athlete on the planet. So Let's listen to just 25 minutes of Goggins. His just man, him just talking, and he gets you going. So, all right, y'all ready? Like to hear it? Here you go. All right.
This guy.
Ready? Okay.
If you're in a fight, you have to attack. You have to keep attacking. The enemy has to know he is not going to give up. You must break the soul of whatever the fuck is in front of you. That's what I realized. I was never breaking the soul of anything in front of me. So that's why I came up with this thing called Taking Souls in my book. I started to devise ways to break a soul of a human being, of an object, of whatever's in front of me. If you keep on attacking something, nothing wants to stand in front of anything that is relentless.
Get it. 18. You me, son. Get it. 19. You me, son. Yeah. 20. You got some more. 21. Yeah. Get it again. Come on. We want to see it. Good. 22. Who's going to carry the boats and the logs? That's you, buddy. Come on. 23. Come on. 24. One more, David. Who's one more to carry the boats? You're going to do it. You're going to do it. You're going to do it. You did it. Yeah.
Life is one big psychological warfare that you play on yourself. You play on yourself, man. The most important conversation I ever had is with myself. And the shit I was telling myself was so fucked up. It was so wrong. It was so misguided. And other people start to write that dialogue for you also. And it starts to be what you say to yourself every single day. And I started creating a whole nother warfare, a whole nother battle started becoming. I was like, oh, hang on a second, Goggins. You have these tools. You have these tools. Your life was basically the perfect grounds for training for where you need to go in your life. All the beatings, all the bullying, all the, you going through learning disabilities, all the struggles. It was the absolute perfect training ground for you to go to where you need to go. And that's how I started looking at my life versus woe is me, poopy pants, kick a rock down the street mentality. It was, God just hooked you right the fuck up. He hooked you right up, man, with the perfect place. You were training for the first 18, 19, 20. You were training for this stuff, man. You have the advantage of everybody else versus, my God, they're so above me. They came from a great family. Mom and dad loved them. They didn't have to learn. They didn't stutter. They didn't struggle. No, man, your struggle is what made you who you are now. So I started flipping this into a whole different, I started being a master of what I was scared of. I was scared of my mind. And I became literally a master of that mind. And that's what now, from now on, it sets me apart from most people. I started diving into that. A lot of us are going through a hard time in life. Some people have been bullied. Some people are just stressed out. Some people are insecure. Some people are fat and overweight. And the world puts a lot of this shit in your mind. It's not just you. Yeah, you help it. And my whole thing is about, I had to develop a mindset that was indestructible. I had to armor plate my mind. And it's about what you're saying to yourself, but it also comes with work. So whenever I was getting beat down, physically, mentally, spiritually, whatever I was going through, just saying, I would put, you can't hurt me. Can't hurt me just became a message. I would say to myself, I believe that most human beings are only living at about 40% of their capability. So the mind has a governor, like a car. If you're driving a car and the car has a governor on it, the car may say 130 miles an hour, but the governor is set for 91. Once that governor sets in, you get to 91, that car starts doing this. The car wants to go. The car wants to go, but that fucking factory said, we're not going past 91. We have a factory, a nice governor in our brain, and it's a survival mechanism. It protects us from pain and suffering. The second we feel that shit, our mind says, oh no, this isn't fun. We should back off. We should sit down, find something more comfortable. And there's something about the mind. The mind has the tactical advantage over you at all times. At all times of your life, the mind has a tactical advantage over you. Why is that? It knows what you're afraid of. It knows your insecurities. It knows your deep, dark lies. And it starts to push you away from that shit. It pushes you in a direction that is comfortable. The mind controls everything. So what I realized was that when I was growing up and I was 300 pounds and I got all fat and I got all insecure, I realized that my mind kept taking me in this direction. When things got uncomfortable for me, when I was facing my insecurities, when I was facing my fears, my mind said, oh no, we have the tactical advantage. We need to get you, separate you from this feeling. This feeling over here, life's all about feelings. We want the happy feeling. We don't want that feeling of this sucks. Why am I here? And you don't have any, so you can't answer those questions, so you leave. I started realizing that if in that moment, you can answer those fucked up questions, and you are now in charge of your brain versus your brain ruling you, that's where all that stuff comes from. So the 40% rule is all of that. You get to 40%, your brain says, we're done. Let's roll, man. This is starting to get painful. This is uncomfortable. So you sit down. You have to figure out ways, and everybody's different. That's how the book kind of talks about, like we all have these things about, 5 steps to this and 4 steps to this. It's a lot more than that. That's all bullshit. It's a practice that you have to, it's a habit. So if you know that at 40%, I'm feeling pain. At 40%, I'm feeling pain. That's where the 40% rule kicks in. Now it starts. Okay, I'm feeling pain. My mind's saying all this shit to me. It's saying, get out of here, run, flee. The fight or flight kicks in. Okay, we're done. We're not good enough. It starts telling you all these things. You start to believe it because the mind controls all. This is the time where you have to gain control back of your mind. It's okay. Let me see if I can go 45%. And once you start giving yourself more and more hope and start realizing, okay, the mind starts to be, okay, what are you doing? We're supposed to be going right and you're going left. You start then controlling your mind. Start finding more in yourself. And then it goes from 40% to a lot further than that. But that's the start of it though. Get to the spot where your mind is saying stop. Whatever that is, you gotta get there first. And then that's when that shit starts to work for you. You gotta control yourself in that moment. I used to look at my life from a different vantage point. And when you're in all the muck and you're just walking in muck and walking in muck and walking in muck, you don't see that if you look off to the fucking left of the muck, there's a sidewalk, brother. Get off of it. You have your head down looking in this muck. Once I saw the sidewalk, got the sidewalk, I got a little break. And I got a different vantage point. And then from the sidewalk, I found a cliff. Then I found a mountain. I got way up high on top of my life and looked back down on it and said, okay, I got to figure this out, man. I'm not going anywhere. I'm starting to lie. So when you have a messed up foundation, I started lying about everything. I wanted people to like me. I wanted to be accepted in some society of life, some social society. And I was like, man, this isn't the right way. I'm messed up here. I'm messed up here. I'm messed up everywhere. And so I realized the worst thing that happened to me is I lost myself. I never had myself. I never found myself. I had no self-esteem. So I knew through working out and through learning, it took a lot for me to learn also. I started finding self-esteem. Once I found that, that's when doors started opening up. I stopped caring about people, that what they thought, being judged. Wow, if I say this, if I started right now, are you gonna make fun of me? I stopped caring about that. And that's when my life started really changing for me, slowly but surely. I didn't care about losing weight. I didn't care about being the fastest person. I wasn't making the Olympics. I wasn't going to pros. I could barely read and write when I was in a junior in high school. I wasn't going anywhere. I saw working out as a way for me to build calluses on my mind. I had to callous over the victim's mentality. So I watched these movies. I talked about Rocky last time I was on here. I always equated training to mental toughening. Like it always looked brutal. People waking up early and doing all these things. And it looked horrible. I was like, wow, man, I got to start doing that. Not to get better, bigger, and stronger, but that is what's going to build me. That looks uncomfortable. That looks brutal. And getting up early, I don't want to do that. So I made this long list of things I don't want to do. And through that, I found myself. I started, I'm like, you guys aren't doing this shit in high school. You guys aren't getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning, running over here in this golf course. So I started seeing myself very differently than the average human being. I was like, hang on a second. I have something they don't have. And that's when I started to develop these things through working out. It was this great, never-ending work ethic. And through work ethic, I developed self-esteem. I watched a lot of movies. And I was really big into visualization. And I always equated working out to struggle. And I struggled my whole life, but I ran from it. So I started realizing, man, I got to start facing the struggle, and I got to be mentally strong for the struggle. So that's why I started coming up with like, I'm training for life. Mentally, I'm training for life. I'm not training for like to lift 400 pounds. And I found out on my own pretty much is that through discipline, through self-discipline, through repetition, through tons of repetition of the same thing that you don't want to do. That's the key thing. Through repetition of things you don't want to do, you develop mental, like an armor for your mind. You start to armor your mind. It's like, okay, we suffer every day. It's what we do. We do stuff that sucks every day. So then when the suck stuff comes, you're ready for it. And that's how I started coming up. You know, I just started being very uncomfortable. And now it's like just a way of life. So a lot of people can live with themselves. That's the first thing. A lot of people can live with themselves, look in the mirror and say, I'm okay with being afraid. I'm okay with going on this easy highway over here. The easy highway has all these fucking signs and shit, directions, how to get somewhere. And you have to first be uncomfortable with how you feel about yourself. With that voice that a lot of us like to run away from. We all have it. We all have that voice that's saying, hey man, you know, you're kind of wimping out right now. You're kind of being a little punk right now. But a lot of us say, okay, that's okay. It's okay to tell these little white lies to ourselves. So we first have to face the real you. The real me is David Goggins. The real me is the guy looking at you right now saying, I don't want to fucking be on this show right now because I used to stutter as a kid. And I'm afraid of that. I'm afraid that here in a second, I'm going to start fucking stammering and stuttering, and the whole world's going to know that I have all these issues. But that's when I see right now, okay, Goggins, you got to go on this fucking show. That's Goggins. Goggins is saying, okay, David Goggins, you're a punk. Life made you this way. We can't live like this. We can't live in fear. We can't live in judgment. We can't be afraid of what the fuck people right now are looking at me saying about me. We cannot be afraid of that. That's Goggins. Goggins saying, fuck all of you who don't like me, who don't want to. And that person then comes in. But you have to be David Goggins and say, man, I'm afraid of this. I'm fucked up here. Life made me this way here. I stutter. I have these issues with reading and writing, and I'm fat and I'm insecure. You have to face that in that dark room. In that dark room is who you are. But in that dark room is where you have to create another human being that walks out of that dark room to face who you are. That's the only way you're going to get over all those things. You have to create someone else. Not like you have two different personalities. It is you. But you have to find strength. In that visualization of almost me cracking out Goggins, like almost like that Superman cape, like I'm coming out a different person, a person that doesn't give a fuck about anything, who doesn't care about being judged, who knows I'm weak, who knows I'm afraid, who says, whatever you think about me, take it, whatever, I'm here. That's Goggins. In the dark room, you face yourself, you realize you want to be better, you realize you don't want to be this weak, insecure person in the world who has all these problems that we all have. We all have. Social media is a great platform to tell you who we want to be, not who we are. It was my junior year in high school, and I fell back a lot. I fell back in this fucking hole of life. The second you think that you've overcome it, you climbed Everest, you're on that last hold, and life will say, not today, motherfucker. And it'll push you down. And my junior year in high school, I missed a whole bunch of school, was lying to my mom, had like a 1 point something GPA. I was just jacked up. I mean, I was in one of the worst spots in my life. And my mom was going through a lot of shit too. And she didn't have time to sit back and baby me. And it was me against me. My pants were down to my knees. I was not, whatever was going on, I was in a bad shape. So I went to the bathroom and I had this weird haircut because I wanted attention. I was an attention getter. I went to an all white school pretty much. Some of the kids liked me, a lot of them didn't like me, whatever. Didn't fucking matter. I was looking for something. So I would dress differently, crazy haircuts. And I went to the mirror, and the reflection in it revealed a lot of bad things. A lot of things that I was hiding behind the saggy pants. And I'm looking at myself in the mirror going like, God, dog, dude, you are something else, man. Like you have created a character. I want to be at the cool guy table, and whatever I could do to get attention, I did. It wasn't me. It wasn't who I was inside, but I was scared for anybody to know who I was inside. So in that accountability mirror, I call it, I got real with myself. I said, you have a third grade reading level, which is hard to admit when you're a junior in high school that you copied on every single thing you did because of fear they're going to put me in a special school. We all know what special means. I'm going to have a title on myself the rest of my life. And being cool, you don't have a title on yourself. So I started cheating. I was dumb. And people say, oh, you know, you have learning disability. I have learning disability, but I realized I was lazy. So I called myself out there. I called myself out every which way possible. I didn't call myself out. I was just honest. I was honest. Look at yourself, man. Look at yourself. And it was that day, in a couple of days after that, I just got real with myself. And every day I came home, I called the accountability mirror. What am I going to do today to change what I see in this mirror? What am I going to do today? And a lot of it was I stopped sitting with the cool guys. I actually tucked my shirt in, went to school looking like, hey, man, this is how I'm going to look. If you don't like it, so be it. I had to really wear this layer of skin. I had to develop a really callous skin on me to take whatever you're going to call me, you're going to call me. Whatever I'm going to be, you know, I wasn't a geek, but whoever I am, you're going to see me. You're going to see me for who I am because I need to change who I'm not. And that accountability mirror just became raw. And when I became fat over the years, because I fell back in the hole, I called myself fat because I was fat. And people don't want to do that. They want to say, oh, don't call yourself fat. Don't call yourself dumb. If you're not real and raw with who the fuck you are, nothing's going to change. And in this nice new world that we live in, we want to hear, you're just a little big. No, man, you might be fat. And it's okay to hear that from yourself and from everybody else. So that's where it started at. And it's raw. It gets ugly sometimes with me in that mirror, but I'm also proud of myself to be able to tell myself that and then fix what's in that mirror. My whole life, I mean, I don't know if people believe in God or what. I don't care what you believe in. There's been this unrelenting voice in my head. We all have this voice. It's the right or wrong voice. And a lot of times that voice guides us into comfort. And my voice guided me into comfort a lot. But I have this other voice I heard my whole life saying, hey, motherfucker, what are you doing? No, man, we got to go over here. We got to go over here to that rock pile over in the fucking corner where nobody's at. That's where victory's at. We're over there in that corner. So this voice was giving me all these answers. I wasn't a real smart kid growing up, but I had this crazy voice in my head saying, over there is where the fucking answers are. And I didn't want to listen to it because over there was pain. Over there was me looking in the mirror. Over there was me being accountable for all these things that went through my life. Even though people put them on me, it's now mine to own. And I didn't want to go over there by myself, but I had to. And this voice was guiding me there. It's God, whatever you want to call it. But that's what it was in me. I was trying to find myself through a character. I was making different hairstyles and sagging my pants, and I was off. I was off, man. I was a clown. I was a clown. And I was like, this is not where you're supposed to be in life, man. And it's ugly when you look in that dirty mirror and you're trying to do a new hairstyle to go to school. You know, I had a hairstyle one time where I shaved the top of my head. You know how old men had the hair like leaving their head?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I went to school with hair on the side of my head and in my back, and I shaved the whole top of my head.
He was like a jackass, man.
I went to school like that.
He was like a jackass.
I was the funny dude that came into school, like Criss Cross came out when I was in high school. So my pants were backwards. I said, you know, I don't have my pants backwards, sag down past my ass crack, shirt turned backwards with a toothbrush in my mouth with the reverse part. The reverse part is your head is shaved and you have some hair on top. I would think about what can I do to impress a motherfucker at school?
Wow.
And that became my life. And that it's a long road to hoe to get to the guy who says, now, you don't ever smile on any podcast. You look so serious. I look at that shit. I'm like, you motherfuckers have no idea who I am, where I've come from to get here today. Think about it. I was a 36 black guy to go through SEAL training. And so there's not a lot of black guys. And so I take that and I make a nice comedy skit out of that shit. You know, like the first time they tied me up and threw me, it's called drown proofing.
Yeah.
So I'm negative born as hell. So imagine them getting your hands and feet, tying your ass up and throwing you in the fucking water and say swim. It was like throwing a cat in the water with fucking brick on them. So it's so many things I had to get over, you know, and I found humor. I found humor in my suffering. I was like, motherfucker, what are you doing out here, Goggins? Like, this is crazy. Like, you're literally trying to reinvent the wheel, but I was trying to reinvent my mind. And I used every single tactic possible to do that. I didn't want to live in this world where I was a fake human being anymore. And I was tired of blaming everybody for where I was at. My dad beat me, this happened. I mean, my dad ran prostitutes, man. My dad literally snatched the soul out of my mom. Like, my mom is still battling. Like, after my mom left my dad, and this is what I'll talk about in the book, she got married 3 times for a total of 6 months. You know, I don't go there. I'm not even gonna talk about the guy she married. So this woman she's beautiful. She's so smart, all this stuff, man. This guy literally stripped her soul away. And I was a young kid watching it. And I had no soul to begin with. And my brother, he has a story that he could write 8 books. You know, my dad just came through and just washed us all clean. So to come
Is he
out,
still around?
he died about 4 years ago.
You look like a
4 or
jackass
5 years
too,
ago, I'm
man.
not for sure. I didn't go to the
I'm sure
funeral,
you
but I
did.
forgave him. So I saw my dad through an 8-year-old's eyes. So we left when I was 8. And then at 22, I went back to see him through a grown man's eyes. And he was the same person I remembered. But I had to. You can't live with hate. You cannot move forward. As much as that guy tried to ruin all of our lives, that's where I came from. I had to figure out the origin of where I started from. So when I was going back through my life trying to fix who I am, the fucked up person I was, like, if your knee hurts, it's usually not your fucking knee that's hurting. It's something else, man. Like, it could be a tight quad. It could be the right leg if it's the left leg. You got to find out the origin of where all this shit began. And it was him. So I had to go back to where, you know, my roots and the origin of all this happened. And it's hard to do that.
Did you make
Promise y'all 25 minutes, man. So, man, that was deep, right? So, you know, one, face the real you. Who is the real you? You know, make a list of what you don't want to do and do that. Be honest with yourself. Be 100% honest with yourself, man. That's what a lot of us, again, we all suffer from that lack of intellectual honesty. Somebody said she was more popular in high school. She got imprisoned by the image. So she decided to go full jackass and wear this. Anyway, said it was therapeutic for her. There you go. But what he said about his dad is you can't grow with hate in your heart. You know, it's like for years I didn't take communion. Like, I'm a Christian, and I didn't take communion because I had aught in my heart. And so that stunted my growth for those years that I didn't take communion, because I had that. I couldn't move forward. I couldn't get past that hate that I felt. And so you gotta eliminate that hate. It could be hate for somebody else. It could be hate for yourself. Hate of yourself. That's a lot of times what it is. Is hate is just misguided love. So, but yeah, man. So right on, right on, right on. Y'all, this is crazy, right? Because that's my Ted Kaczynski get up, man. You know, Ted Kaczynski he was a Unabomber. So anyway, man, y'all be easy. Thanks so much for popping in, man. I'll try to do it tomorrow too, man. All right, peace.